Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is On the Anvil, episode 130. This is a show where we take you behind the scenes here at Dwarven Forge. We show you what we're working on, we show you some of the challenges we're facing, and we might just give you a glimpse of the future, which tonight is the whole episode pretty much. We're showing sci-fi nonstop. Welcome. Mostly this is the show where we have no technical issues ever. We talk about, what do we have?
It's a talent issue.
Well, we have nonstop talent issues.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hang out. We're gonna drink a frosty beverage, talk tabletop for 2 hours with two of the greatest people in the world, Chris and myself. No, we have Eli and Hamster here. They're also laughing at my joke, so it's not even a joke. My nonsense. So it makes it even better. So we're gonna bring them on. They're sequestered in the green room right now, getting foot massages, but we will bring them on.
We had a green room. We have a purple room now.
And foot massages. We do.
We have a purple room now.
They're in the purple room right now, gathering their strength. Really, they're 5 feet away from the camera here, just ready to come on out. We're gonna do the news, and we'll bring them in. What else is happening, Chris? What's going on?
Well, I'm currently living in like 5 frames per second, so that's cool. I'm gonna restart my webcam in a bit. Tonight, we got some news on a couple things. We got our first paint masters from Lowtown to show off. A couple other things. We have a good amount of news. We're gonna reveal a couple things, and then we're gonna give away a $50 Dwarven Forge gift card about an hour into the stream.
50 Imperial credits.
50 bits. Yeah.
Short for orbits.
Yeah, that might be half a bean. All right, let's
Lima beans.
You wanna. So do we want?
Oh yeah, and talk to us. So, we're here, especially we've got Hamster, we've got Eli. There's the two of us, the regular Yahoos. Talk to us, interact with us. This is live. We love hearing what you have to say, unless you're talking about Spelljammer. Be nice.
Brief question. Do we want them to just do we want Hamster and Eli to just stand over there while we're doing the news?
Yeah.
Or do we want to? Okay.
Just make it really awkward for.
Okay, just make them watch this whole thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Hey. All right. Well,
let's
let's go as quickly as possible then.
All
right. Here we go.
It's the news. News. It's the news.
I wonder how many people leave the stream every time when you just blow out the mic.
What's in the news, Kate?
What's in the news? A couple exciting things.
No one can even see any of that, by the way.
Just a couple exciting things. Hey, you didn't know D&D started a streaming channel, basically.
What? In this economy?
Yeah, they started a streaming channel, and they launched with 3 shows, and you'll never believe it. One of the shows has our stuff all over it.
This is nonsense.
Yeah, last night, Encounter Party premiered, and we did most of the terrain for it. They also did some other stuff for special set pieces, but it's very high production value. It's got a very strong cast. It's also, even if you're not a big actual play person, it's edited down to hour-long episodes. The whole thing is let's make like a TV level version of this, basically.
And they've been brewing this for they approached us at Gen Con 2022.
We've been working on it for a while. Yeah,
it's been a long.
We talked to the guys over there. I think it's Ned and Brian.
Yeah.
We talked to them about it for a while, and it's been cooking for a long time. And that went live. I think the first 2 episodes went up last night. I might be wrong, but they're gonna have new episodes every Tuesday night for the next while. I guess.
Where do we find this channel, Chris?
I don't understand entirely.
Okay.
I'm out of the loop on streaming things. Look up Encounter Party, or just look up news on where D&D's streaming site is. It's on 2 services that I haven't heard of before. I'm not in the loop. I found out it premiered a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So
you're tipping your hand.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up before this. Plex or Freevee? Oh, Plex. Okay, Plex I do know.
What's
actually.
Plex?
Plex.
Wait. It's got to be part of Google, right? Because Google Plex.
No.
Oh.
No. Freevee is Amazon. So you can get okay, cool. All right, so if you got Amazon Prime, apparently Happy Hippo says Freevee is Amazon.
This is why we have the audience, that they can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
What was the Latin word we didn't know the other day? And nobody. Yeah. We're trying to
abacus. We were trying to figure out the plural for abacus. I don't know if we actually figured it out.
It's abacuses.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. So if you have Amazon Prime, there you go. It's on Freevee. And then Plex, I haven't used it, but my friends use it to.
Freevee. I see what they did there. It's free TV.
One of my friends. That'll do it. Nice. Isn't Twitch Amazon? Yeah, Twitch also. If you have Amazon Prime, by the way, you get a free sub. You get, and you can connect to your Twitch account to your Amazon account, and you get like
a free sub.
Yeah, you get a free sub every month. They send you a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
No, they give you like, yeah, you can sub to you can sub to any channel for free. So you can actually just have like a free, if you want like all the emotes we've made and everything on this channel. I don't think there's a ton of benefits outside of that. Maybe it's changed since I last looked. But yeah, if you want access to all the emotes we've made and everything, and you have Amazon Prime, and this is like the only Twitch channel you watch, you can actually sub for free using Twitch Prime, and then you'll get those emotes and everything.
Is this the only Twitch channel you watch?
I think quite a few. I think quite a few people only do Twitch because of us.
So we get.
I think a lot of our audience. Hey, there we go. Matt, who does a lot of Twitch, apparently hadn't used his Prime. What Penny Arcade does really good streams too.
Yeah.
So yeah. Point is, yeah, Plex or Freevee. You can look up how to find those. The first 2 episodes should be up for streaming, and they're adding a new one on Tuesday, like every Tuesday night for the foreseeable future.
Woohoo!
What's the other stuff we got going on? Hey, we're gonna be at PAX Unplugged in 2 weeks.
Is it really 2 weeks?
It's like 2 weeks and 2 days.
We're driving on a Wednesday 2 weeks from now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Wait, next week is Thanksgiving.
We're leaving in literally 2 weeks.
We're gonna be in Philly 2 weeks from now.
Yes. Yeah.
Just gorging on cheesesteaks.
I don't know if I can do more than half a cheesesteak this time.
Okay.
I don't know. I did 4 slices of deep dish at Ellipticon last year. Yeah, Hamster knows. He was there. That was rough. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there in 2 weeks. But we'll be there the whole weekend.
4501, I think.
4501, something like that. Yeah. It's a smaller show floor. It's gonna be pretty easy to find us compared to like Gen Con and stuff. We're gonna have sci-fi prototypes. We're gonna have a lot of stuff actually. Friends at Pirate Borg are gonna be doing stuff, and I'm making a bunch of builds for that. There's a lot of really cool stuff there, and we're trying to expand the stuff that Mace is in chat. 4015.
Mace
is our booth.
We're close.
We're trying to do more stuff with our friends and like have more things going on at conventions other than just having our booth.
Doing like 6 builds for things that aren't in the
it's a lot. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's a good convention.
It's gonna be very good.
Low key. You can actually talk to people.
I think Unplugged is one of my favorites. It's not my favorite. I love Unplugged a lot.
Who's gonna be there, Chris?
You, me, Tyler, Miles, Mace, and Syl.
Boom. 6.
Yeah, 6.
The Magnificent 6. It's a pretty cool.
Jay will probably stop by if you want to.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky,
Saturday
you might catch...
from like 12 to 1.
If you're lucky,
Saturday from like 2 to 4.
Yeah, 2 to 4. If you're lucky, next to all the Dwarven Forge gamers in black t-shirts, you might see a guy in slacks and a polo.
And then he'll drop a Ninja Smoke Bomb and disappear.
Yeah. So
and we'll come to PAX.
Come to PAX if you haven't. It's a very, especially if like conventions like stress you out too. Like PAX Unplugged is like the most low key chill convention.
It's good.
It's really all about just playing games.
Dude, there's a giant library of board games. You can just borrow a board game and play.
It's a very fun time if you're remotely near Philly and you want to go. It's worth it. Yeah. What else got going on? Hey. So we got a couple store things going on. Wildlands Reforged production moved faster than we expected. So like they're almost done producing the pieces. They still have to paint it and then they can pack it up to ship and all that. But it's moving faster than we expected.
We're theoretically, conceptually ahead of schedule currently.
Yeah, we don't want to give like
anything could happen between that.
At least until
point A and B.
At least until it's actually on a boat. But even then, stuff can happen. So we might actually be delivering that early. But because of that,
if nothing else, we're delivering on time.
Yeah, because of that, the factory has room to actually do another small restock before they start on Lowtown production. So we're working on getting one of those together. We'll hopefully have the list fairly soon.
Chris has got some heavy hitters in there.
Yeah,
some spicy boys.
So yeah, we're still working out exactly what's going to be in there. It's not set yet, but we're starting that discussion. We're trying to get something going. So it would arrive after the Wildlands Reforged stuff, but it'd be another restock before Lowtown delivers, basically. So there we go.
Yeah.
If Reforged arrives at the same time as Lowtown, Reforged is going to land before Lowtown.
Nice. For sure.
They're still making the molds for Lowtown, but they're getting very close to done.
But this is a good reminder that on the Discord, there is a channel for restocks, and put your requests in because Chris trolls or looks at whatever you do. You view, what's the verb to, you monitor that channel closely.
Yeah. I did. I pulled people in there earlier today. I was
Yeah.
just like, what kind of stuff?
I was
do
thinking
you-
trawling, not trolling. But yeah,
Trawling is good.
yeah, trolling.
Yeah.
That's what
I
you
do.
in your off
I do
hours.
some trolling as well.
But put your thoughts in that Discord channel because we listen and we've been Chris has been taking all those suggestions to heart and we get some good stuff.
Will there ever be more mega sets restocked? Not likely. The issue with mega sets is with our MOQs, we got to get hundreds of basically anything that we order. And the larger a set is, the harder it is to move hundreds of it in any kind of reasonable time frame.
Here's the one hope you could have for the future. What sort of mega set were you looking for, by the way? But we could potentially do some bundles in the store, like we're doing with Lowtown, where we sort of take a bunch of component sets and bundle up a bigger thing. We might be able to have that in the future. So we'll see.
Oh, this beanie? We don't currently have a way to. We might someday. We're
That was
constantly
team merch each year for the holidays. We make something, a backpack,
Yeah,
a sweatshirt, a hat, a mug.
Mesa's been coming up with like just holiday gifts for the team like every
Merch
Christmas,
queen.
and it's all been very nice. And this was one of them. Yeah. Anyway, we could get the actual Dwarven Forge piece back. Hey, that's currently what we're finding out. That's one of the things that's in the proposal.
The which thing?
The Dwarven Forge.
Oh, the Dwarven.
The Dwarven Forge.
Literally
That's
in there. I thought,
that's in the proposal. So we're just seeing. We got to see how the numbers come out and all that. But yeah, we're putting a little proposal through, so we're seeing what's gonna be like, what space we got, and all that. So yeah, that's that stuff. Speaking of which, yeah, so they are gonna do this before Lowtown production because they are still finishing up the molds for Lowtown, but they are making progress. Speaking of which, we have our first painted test shots. If you don't know, what the factory does, they send us unpainted test shots where they just send us some Dwarvenite castings.
is the
unpainted.
shape good?
Yeah, so that we can make sure that it's actually working the way it's supposed to and it looks good before they spend time painting it. Once we approve a test shot, they will have their painter take our paint master that we sent them and do a test shot to try and match it. They'll send it over to us and we will approve it again. Once we approve that painted test shot, they're good to start actually producing that piece.
This is our last piece of news, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's bring out our special guests and they can show off these pieces because they're working on them. And we got an Eli, we got a Hamster. It's a party. I'm gonna move off to the side here.
Speaking of talent issues.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Speaking of talent issues.
Okay, don't speak louder. I just had your mic off.
Oh.
But I like
Go ahead, okay,
your
do it
heart
again.
was in it.
Speaking of talent issues.
Okay, that's still a little. All right, that level's probably good. All right, continue.
Just keep saying it. So we got some. Let's see what you got here. What do we, gentlemen?
Oh.
What do we show us? Show us a thing.
I brought my laser gun because I figured if you had a dagger,
Where's the?
We were just while we were like sitting here, Eli was just finding things
like
to play with.
Yeah,
It's backwards. You shot yourself.
yeah, that's the trigger right there.
Yeah. That's
There we go. Yeah, the backwards one.
Yeah, I don't know.
But what do we? How about test shots? What do we have here?
Yes. Well, first of all, like way back when we got just the Dwarvenite castings, it was really exciting to see them in person because they turned out really well. And just today, I saw for the first time these painted headshots.
Painted headshots. Oh wow.
Where's your
painted-
head? Speaking of,
Oh, wow.
Eli was firing a gun. I was thinking of Halo. Headshot.
I thought you were thinking of like
Painted
actor
test
headshots.
shots. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because for the record, like half the team's images on Zoom are their headshots.
Yeah, from a long time ago. But yeah, it's been real. It's just today I walked in. The first thing I saw was especially things like the trash barricade. That there's all kinds of fun details. There we go. Framing. There's just so many fun details in the sculpt. So it was really exciting already to see the test sculpt or the test casting.
So this is a
and just
factory paint.
Factory paint right here. I mean, they replicated the masters like super duper well. So,
I would have guessed you'd painted this.
yeah,
I didn't,
it looks just like it.
Yeah. I say your clamp set to stun.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got a cart with a rope.
Yep, that was Michelle's work.
Yeah.
The blowgun.
The
dart
working wheels.
axle.
Yeah.
What's next? What else we got?
Here's a beautiful little
Curtain.
Like, look at the little gradients
Yeah,
they get on there.
Yeah, it looks like burlap. It's nice.
Even the little
They got good like wear. It's not weathering. It's staining, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are beer stains from the bottom of the tavern.
Yeah. Someone spilled
And I'm
blood
just
on the
seeing
floor
this.
and soaked up.
Aaron examined the green roof, but I am just seeing for the first time the also nice little recess shading kind of that's in those inner parts. And then the green, of course, turned out really, really well. That's a
Yeah.
fun one.
Yeah.
Toby
Nice
did
looking
those.
bit of,
The
The
copper on top's
shingles.
pretty nice too.
Actually, Toby did the inside too, didn't he? Do the.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think I did a teeny bit on the wood, but it was pretty much Toby, yeah.
Yeah.
Might regret getting all unpainted this time around. I'll tell you what, this I think is a great scheme to go unpainted if that's the way that you were thinking about trying
The
to get
rate
some more
you
stuff.
paint stuff, though, you should. I mean, you still have like all your wildlands unpainted. Like,
That's true.
yeah.
My Dwarvenite needs paint.
Cities of Sigmar needs paint.
My city's a Sigmar also needs paint. Yeah.
Look at that
These,
freestanding
these
ivy.
won't these will not be bad though for painting. I mean, compared
No,
to
right.
This stuff, like the wood.
Yeah, that'll go really fast.
And especially like even if you bought painted and you're getting this, like it's gonna be fairly easy to replicate if you kind of supplement your factory painted stuff too.
These are privacy curtains for the dungeon druggist. How is it seeing the wood? You sculpted all this wood, Eli. How's it?
Yeah,
how
I
do you
mean,
feel?
this one
Wood feeling
actually
painting?
was Lisa
Oh, right, you
Bell,
sold it,
but
right,
these
yeah.
ones were me. Yeah.
I mean,
it
it's a good
looks
sign
great,
that I
yeah.
can forget and it all blends into
Yeah,
one.
yeah, no, she did a nice job with that. It looks good. Yeah, I'm very happy. There's still the
Show that over
slight,
here.
yeah, sorry, the subtle variations in the height of the boards, which are really important, I think, for just giving it that kind of weathered, hand hewn feel, which is really nice. Just the fact that these project just that little bit, and a little bit of gray weathering from where the rain would be building up on them or whatever. I'm very happy with it. Yeah. Floor likewise.
This is still my favorite, like the tops of the boards. Honestly, so many good.
Mostly
Yeah,
just
it is.
base wood. What other corny do I need? We're gonna have paint guides out before the stuff gets to people. And I think we did paint bundles during the pledge manager that listed what they were though. But I think for most of the wood, it literally is just. Is it just base wood?
It's not just base wood, but it is the same as the old city builder system wood. So it's base wood and then a dry brush of a mix of stucco and base wood. So if you don't have stucco, it's a great color anyway. It's a great highlight color, even to mix into other colors.
You're a stucco lover.
I'm a stucco lover. I'll
Yeah.
I'll say it right now. You can quote me on that.
Say it loud and
Yeah.
clear.
Mhm. And Gray Raven, the fact that you have to ask if it was me or factory means we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So that's good
What
to
else
hear.
we got? We have 4 more pieces.
Yeah, this is some of Toby's work here. These are elevation pieces that with the cool sewer outflow or whatever that may be, a little tunnel to underneath. Did I get that? I need to look at the thing while I'm doing it. And then
It's a different weird muscle, like
yeah, it's
everything's
like
kind of
doing things in a mirror.
backwards
Yeah,
and like
yeah, a 1-inch elevation piece, and then the
good. The
steps.
dry brush in there.
Yeah, the nice little bit of gradation for the brighter bits in the
green in the
center,
bottom.
which was Aaron's
These are
paint scheme
awesome.
for the cobblestones. Steps, nice set of steps here.
Boom.
Yeah. And finally, this
You know what's so
lovely little-
fun is it's experiencing the pieces again for like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
second time,
Yeah.
and then the stuff will actually arrive, and then you get
Right.
to see it again, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, a set for me is not really done until I've painted it all, which means that
So
Black and
Wildlands
white.
is you're just
Yeah.
halfway through.
how is this not yet done? Someday.
Well, you're modding every single piece, right?
Yes, I am ridiculously modding more or less every piece. And
Custom sculpting on
yeah,
your stuff.
like why not make it more complicated? But then I figure it may take me 2 years, but then hopefully I'll have it for another
You'll be
50
done.
or so,
Yeah.
and that'll be great.
You don't want to reopen
My
the pledge
grandkids
manager
will
for
have it.
cult by any chance? I don't know if we can.
No.
It's way past that at this point. Actually, it's like about to just start making all the pieces, honestly.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk sci-fi. We got the
Talk it.
core the away team is here on the planet of core.
Yeah.
So first disclaimer: everything you see is, and we talk about it. These are prototypes. Things could change. We're planning on launching this sci-fi project in March, and it's what? It's November, so it's 4 months or something. I don't know. Is that the right math? Yeah.
Is it only 4 months?
Yeah.
Oh,
So a lot could change between now and then. If you've seen any of the stuff before, like watching Lowtown evolve, like stuff will change and evolve. So, no guarantees that what you see here is what will finally end up there, but a lot of it probably will be. Was there any other key disclaimer?
These things are also resin prototypes, which don't fit together exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
They're-
biscuits,
they're-
things break and in ways that they will not.
And there's some artifacting on some of them.
Yeah,
and
surfaces are wonky
Yeah,
in places.
there's a lot to
printers
discover.
and all that.
yeah.
And though they may edit, and finally become dwarvenite, they will not survive the elements of outer space. Much to our
Right?
I
We
thought
should,
there
we,
there
we should,
weren't elements in outer space.
well,
lack of
exactly.
elements.
So how are they supposed to survive them? Anyway, I'm out of here. Good night, everybody.
let's launch one into the atmosphere and see what happens.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting.
New demo with a little camera on it.
Yeah.
Like absolute zero-ish.
Yeah.
You can use the anchor magnets to attach it to a Tesla.
we have to the SpaceX rocket.
Yeah.
We could we always like to do dwarvenite tests, right? The durability. We could get
Yeah.
these ones into space and see what happens.
Yeah.
It totally would work.
Will it survive re-entry?
That's
Well, no, they
probably harder.
can melt, so that's probably bad.
Yeah.
It's
one of them
have a
has-
second. God.
Oh, it
So let's look
works.
at so we have pieces that you've seen. We have a bunch of new stuff to show tonight.
Bring up the tray.
And I got a bunch of questions and a bunch of thoughts. I want to get you pick your guys' brains while you're here. Should we show some new stuff first to get people
Yeah.
excited?
Nobody wants to see that.
Okay, forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. Just bring out the
I don't
bill.
know. Maybe
so-
show them one little thing to get
Okay,
them.
one little
there's
thing.
only one
Where
thing on top.
is the
Upstream
This a new
here
thing?
says
That what
says
this
he
is?
knows an acid gamer.
I don't
An
know if
acid
we've
gamer?
shown.
I'm not sure what's been shown. I
Yeah.
forget.
Really?
Not an acid gamer. And we all know
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tails is here.
This is a
We can do
revised
this.
version of the panel for the.
Is it Albus
Trapdoor.
here? Tails here.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. All right.
I missed. I didn't. I couldn't hear all the. Just,
There's too many things going on at once.
yes.
Got it. All right.
Hey, Tails. All right. So what do we? So bean it up.
So I don't know if this is a bean or
No,
not.
we've
It's a
seen
dry
it
bean.
before, but
Okay.
dry bean. Refried beans.
Yes. All right.
But still delicious.
Trapdoor insert, whatever for the blaster. You've seen it all before.
So the camera you're showing to is the one that Nate's holding, not
Here we
the webcam.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is new. Okay,
Nice,
I
yeah.
think you've heard of this. Heard it was coming. This one, yeah, okay. The angle's a little wonky.
It's a little
because stuff
finicky.
had to get sanded because it was just a print.
And
But
some of them have broken, unfortunately.
Hold
Yes.
it low. This is your zone right here.
yeah,
Hold it
right,
there so
okay.
people can see it.
This,
Yeah. All right.
this thing you can't see.
No,
that
the
I'm not
camera's over
describing.
here, not the TV. Pointing to the camera.
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
you're showing it to the.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
there we go. All right, sorry.
Yeah. You know what? Talk to me as if I'm the audience and forget the TV.
Okay, I thought
I'm
it was.
good.
I thought it was that webcam. That's,
No,
that's
alright.
what's getting me.
Okay.
And I was trying to look at that to see how.
Yeah, I get it.
Now, Pat, chew some gum and talk. Or whatever you
Chew
want.
some gum and talk.
That's the thing, right? You just have to see if you can do both.
That's just standard baseball player behavior. It's like
How I got here. What we
Yeah.
have here is the ramp, which is part of the catwalk system, and it's a two-part unit that hinges.
It's gonna break if you probably.
Yeah, so I won't mess with this one, but the final version will hinge so you can adjust
I think
the
it
angle.
might be able to.
Yeah, you can. You can. It does. It does.
I think I broke one of them that we could use. Yeah, this is a good broken one. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's good broken.
I'll never forget.
Ish until it breaks again.
I'll never forget Mace at a convention, like talking about how Dwarvenite will never break.
Mhm.
Oh, did you just break it?
Well, purposefully. It's two pieces.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But the
so
one
yeah.
is sort of broken, but
So-
Got it.
So what you can, as you can see, there's sort of a hook part that fits onto this, and there's another bit that will be out here and not broken off in the final version.
let me zoom. Let me get. Hang
And
on.
that
Enhanced.
lets you adjust it from almost straight up if if your Space Marines are practicing their wall climbing techniques to any shallower pitch. This is Toby's design, and another nice thing about this is it has these very subtle cleats, which
Cleats.
Space Marines can stand on.
Wait, hang on. I got it.
Are we getting this? Yeah.
So this is interesting because we got some feedback. I think I saw it somewhere in like an old Facebook comment on a post or something of like, ramps are finicky for miniatures. And I was like, that's a good point. I should bring that up. And then instead of like just omitting the ramp, we're like, well, we can make it better then. And we added these little things and now it's perfectly playable.
It's got little nubs.
Forge, we
Cleats.
can do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, pleats. I guess that's nicer than nubs.
Yeah. No.
But I think it's you can see it's those little
Those
raised
are
dots on the
cleats
sides.
before they fully develop.
So you can have your whole squad.
So I don't know if you can even see the.
You can
even
you
see
can
the whole squad.
maintain
They
squad
can see the,
coherence.
they can see
Yeah.
they can see the pleats.
Yeah.
They
There,
can see the
the
bumps.
little cleats are in the corner. They're hidden, and we're amping them up another millimeter, but they're working. We just want to make them sure they're like really foolproof.
Yeah. So yeah, you can maintain squad coherence while on the ramp. I just did a little
You
bit.
speak as if you're.
I know.
How much 40K have you played, Eli?
I've played well over 3 hours of 40K in the last
Well
30
over
years.
just under 3 rounds of 40K.
At which point, it was evident that my Tyranids were probably not going to overcome Hamster Space Marines.
I was I was in the room 2 hours ago when you learned the word coherence.
But this is the point of playing, right?
Yeah.
So now you can
Yeah.
talk like you're an expert. It's
Yeah,
like-
and we did learn some useful things, I think, and got to play around with the terrain. And now I don't want to need maybe the wrong word. But I
Definitely
want some Tyranid models.
Oh,
But we'll
it's on
see.
the record now.
Want, yes. Let's see what gets allowed. Maybe when I'm done painting Wildlands, that will be my reward to myself.
There we go.
So, anyways, Brand.
Jeffrey is a good point.
Mhm.
This is going to make it into a lot of 40K display boards for events. I hadn't thought about display boards.
Yeah.
That's a prime.
Yeah, a lot of people like they can get viewed on a display board to judge the paint. Even just transporting them, some people find it convenient to take them out of the case, but at a tournament, you have them on like a meal tray kind of, but they'll make it a nice display. And so this is good elevation to like you kind of need different elevations to hold all
It's
your
like building
models.
a little mini diorama themed for your army.
And
that you,
gameplay wise, I
it's
love
the
just
coolest.
like how much area this takes up. Just like the whole profile and silhouette of the piece right there with just these few.
Big old ramp.
It's just a big old like I was saying this earlier, like my wargame stuff I kind of think of as like spheres. So every angle that you can make with like the stuff is making kind of a globe that's somehow playable from these different angles on an open battlefield. So
Yeah.
The other neat thing is this is hinged, right? So you can adjust the height if you're going onto a floor versus onto ground versus you could also put it all the way flat if you want to go. I'm going to probably break it. We'll see. This prototype is a little janky, but you can go all flat. You can go to a variety of angles so that depending on how high you're going, what your rise is, you'll have it'll always work.
Yeah,
You can go
and
lower.
it's slightly different length than this. It's like about an inch longer, which will be useful at times. So, yeah. So that's
But if you
one
need
more
it as
part.
another extension for your straight, like you have even more straight catwalk if you don't want to use the trail.
Yeah.
You can put two of them side by side to drive your tank up or whatever.
Yeah, actually, that makes a good
Yeah.
access ramp. Going up into the cargo hold or whatever on your ship or your drop ship, whatever. So that's one new piece. Should we dig out something else?
No, it's just sort of like but they already saw the new. Like you gotta. It's only 7:30. We gotta parse out the
Okay. No,
the
never mind that.
bits little by little. Here's a question. So, Eli, this was your first time playing with a big old batch of prototypes.
Yes.
Right, physically, and Hamster, you've been messing around now.
Yeah.
The last week or two, having painted 600 prototypes in the last 3 weeks. What are your impressions of this set now that you've had a little hands-on with the 20 pieces that we have cast so far?
my first impressions were that like we're trying really hard to make it a fairly minimal piece count while still being really efficient and effective. And so it was really fun to see just how much it can build and how creative you can be with like that smaller piece count, especially before we've even finalized some of like the final accessories or little bits and things. Before we even have that, we're already making cool, evocative stuff.
Just with
That's
the
also
building
And we're
blocks.
building with
functionally-
like
just with the
half of the
box.
set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, wow, I was able to like have a good time building and have a thing that I'm proud of before we even have like some of the coolest stuff.
You don't even have the frosting for the
Yeah,
cake.
exactly.
It's a delicious cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A deep dish cake.
Yeah.
Well, you had so you were building a battlefield.
It was
last
primarily
week,
exterior. Yeah.
and we said, you probably don't have enough pieces to make something big, like just maybe do a small like combat patrol size thing. And what happened?
Well, yeah, I was like, how many pieces do we even have? Like, can I even make a whole battlefield? I filled a whole 4x4 and I had pieces left over.
Wow.
So
We-
like, it
what
didn't
we
even
thought
take
was
that much.
not enough.
And I'm talking multiple
Yeah.
stories on
So
some
even
buildings,
3 to
that kind of
6
thing.
inch
Yeah.
high, like thing of central.
And that's why,
structure.
kind of what I was saying, like the pipes and catwalks can really cover a big footprint, let alone when you finally have like the buildings that they're going to or connected to. You can really spread out a good amount of coverage with a small amount of pieces.
Yeah, and the smaller battlefield that I put together today, I was very excited. Just like every bit of terrain, every building or structure felt very different from all the others. Just depending on how you elevate things and rotate things and improvising a few. I kind of created an antenna array using a few of the pieces, and
show your. Oh yeah.
yeah, I
And
can-
now we must. You opened up a can of beans because
Okay,
you
well,
had.
Sure. Okay, so we have ladders, but they're not just ladders.
Wait,
I
we
mean,
haven't seen the ladder. That's a bean.
That's a bean. I know.
Oh, okay,
You said-
okay,
you
got
said-
it,
right.
yeah.
Right. So
They-
that's my point. But it's a ladder first appearing as an antenna array, and this is admittedly this is a slightly funny looking thing, but I felt like that would not be out of place somewhere in Tatooine on top of some kind of slightly
Is it moisture farm?
yeah, a moisture farm or something. But yeah, we've got these ladders. These are also, of course, kind of part of the scaffold system. They also work nicely with our accessory walls. This is one of the older walls, I think. But
We forgot to make chutes.
You're gonna break
Yeah.
sheets to go to the ladders. The,
Yeah.
the ramp's a chute.
Oh, fair.
whoops.
Uh, How rigid would the ramp pieces be? Could they be raised and hold position? Maybe biscuited and upside down. Just thinking of dynamic sci-fi antennas, radar,
Okay.
laser cannon type objectives.
Upside down like this. Theoretically, there's gonna be a decent amount of tension on the. Ideally, the sort of tension fit, so you could do that sort of thing, like have it loop,
Yeah.
or have it kind of raised up and do some sort of angle thing.
Yeah, I guess we won't know for sure until we've got.
It's gonna
the
until we're
final-
under, yeah.
But
That's the intention, is to have
Yeah.
it, sort of hold its position.
yeah, it probably wouldn't hold with like a heavy mini on it or something. But if you're
Any
just
mini,
creating,
yeah,
creating,
hold itself if you
some
wanted to
kind of
make a
yeah.
cool sideways thing, whatever you could put.
Yeah.
Back to the regular scheduled ramps. I mean, ladders. What do you?
Yeah. Oh well, just that they're they're designed to work, right side up or right side down. If you want to do multi-level things, you can kind of run them into each other. A little bit of treading that kind of flows into the tread on the top of the top of the accessory wall or of course the catwalks. And
Did we even test putting a mini in there?
I think
it's
we
for
looked at it.
25.
It's a slightly wide. We
Did we make it too large?
we
for the
tinkered
miniatures
with it and we
typically? Yeah.
realized that
It looked crummy.
it looked crummy
yeah.
if they were too tight. So the stairs that we're planning on will support-
Beans are flying like a bean.
Sorry,
machine.
I'm the bean man
bean
today, I
guns.
guess. Yeah. The stairs will support minis climbing up them with the bases tucked in, because I mean it's kind of like the difference between real world ladders and real world stairs. Real world stairs, you have a smaller rise and a wider tread. Real ladders, you have a much higher rise and much shorter tread.
That's
and
why
they
they're
don't
scary.
they don't look right if you do them really tight together.
So stay tuned for stairs.
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the battlefield that you built today for us to play 40K on, and what was the coolest thing that I like from that when I built my battlefield, it was like all of our exterior focused pieces. But you made that like landing pad using the interior sides of the pieces to make this like diamond shaped pad. That was really cool, like a function I didn't even consider. I'm just thinking of the exteriors, and you made
Oh wait,
an
we have
interior
it
thing
right
with
here.
exteriors.
Oh yeah, that was actually kind of.
Oh,
part
do
of
we?
it. Yeah, we sort of adapted it into this thing.
Segway. All right.
Segui.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had this up like elevated on something with.
Right. It was like pylons under it or something, and so it looked like a little like hub pad
A
thing.
little pod, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This stuff works really well for, you can elevate it. Like another thing I did in that build, I was just messing around having fun playing with these. Where are we now?
I'll try and follow you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
like just pylons, and it makes
Yeah,
this...
pylons. And I was like, well,
Oops, all
could we support something with just something like this? And I had a unit like this on each side of a what it would have been four by six
Yeah.
4x6 unit. So this pretty big chunky thing, just held by 2 biscuits, and it was perfectly stable and sturdy, and you could have your guys climb on it, and that's the sort of thing that like you can do that digitally, because obviously you're not dealing with gravity, but you're never quite sure is like, oh, that actually be a good idea,
And is it
I
going to
think
look
it'd be
good?
fine.
And
Yeah, and it felt cool. It felt like this, a landing pod or something. Plenty of space for guys to run under it, and it's just another thing you can build. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I felt like I had 2 competing impulses as I was playing with this stuff for the first part. On the one hand was like, this is cool, and it's like playing with all the different possible ways to use it. And then, of course, it gave me all these other ideas for additional things I want to do. That
Oh, yeah, you immediately started sketching.
Yeah,
the
and so I
pieces,
immediately
like,
started writing lists. Okay, I'd like a this and a this and this. Not because we absolutely need it, but like, obviously we're Dwarven Forge. We've got, about 6 million fantasy pieces. So we're going to want more sci-fi stuff down the line. What should that be? So if this is popular, we've got plenty of ideas for additional things. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
What are you, both you guys sort of in the building, how's it been? These 360 pieces are is a new thing for us, right? So all sides of the piece are usable, and we designed the exteriors to do nice exterior builds, the interiors to do interior builds that can flow from one to the next. What was the experience building with that? Like actually getting to use the inside outside like bits.
I thought it was fun. Like, I just started with the building blocks. I mean, like a lot of builds kind of start, you just start putting some things together, and then you kind of get into a flow, and you're using them in unexpected ways. So it was fun to kind of how you use this interior thing as an exterior construction. I would just like build kind of a foundational building, and then have some sort of like covered, like I would use the interior side to make this whole new like kind of hut thing out of it. So I don't know, it's just
Space hut thing?
Yeah, a space hut. But yeah, there's this like the pieces surprise you in that way of like, as you're kind of playing around and building, you just start flipping them around and see unexpected surprising things as you build kind of spontaneously.
Yeah, like, I mean, another thing I noticed was that you can take these blast doors, and, assuming you put a panel in each one or in most of them, you can create, they make freestanding walls, and you could have, sort of an interesting looking, it might even be some kind of a barricade for your Space Marines where they can raise the panels and shoot through if they want, or just provide cover. That kind of thing. Another piece, well...
Everything feels like a
we haven't gotten to
barricade for
those
Space
guys
Marines
yet,
because they're so tall.
Yeah.
Big beefy armor.
We've looked at the interior corners, right? I'm pretty
Yep.
sure. But these have this interesting texture on the bottom that makes it look a little bit like the end of a jet engine or a dynamo or something. So those work well in many places as like an engine unit, either interior or exterior. You can also put them on the outsides of things to create some kind of fun.
We can't see that.
Right.
It's the opposite side of the camera.
Yeah, I was going to stack something on top of it. Just put that here. If you have a couple of those, you're going to have sort of a space kind of colonnade effect, which would be kind of fun. And it could also be a perching point for something. Yeah, there's.
I was using those corners a lot, just to break up silhouettes. I'd just kind of have some vertical as some sort of antenna or construction. I was placing them on the ends of pipes just to look like some kind of control type thing. I was just like filling it to break up some of the shapes and ends of a lot of different pieces.
Lots of nice ways to break up the silhouette.
Yeah.
We have a request from Paul to put 4 ladders, biscuit them to a floor to make a little suspended platform.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
try
that's
that.
totally doable.
Speaking of biscuits, how's the biscuit system been? What's it like playing with biscuits?
Oh, I love it. I mean, this is my first time really playing with biscuits because
Oh yeah.
Obviously they were an integral part of all the design for Lowtown, but we didn't get. I mean, this is the first time I've seen the actual test shots.
Yeah.
So, and yes, as you said, as soon as you start playing with biscuits, you never want to go back. They're really fun, and you just realize, wow, I can make all these things that'll just stay together in all kinds of different orientations, and you kind of want to stick everything together.
Yeah, when I was building the battlefield, the pieces were just used for a different build from Video Team, and so a lot of the catwalks were already built into a lot of interesting shapes. So I kept a lot of it together and just kind of pull apart these larger sections of already built out shapes and create all new things. But it was fun to just kind of have these like chunky things that were stuck together already, and I could pull them apart as much as I wanted or keep them intact from a previous build or play session or something.
My suspicion is, especially for war game use, is that people are going to leave stuff built like once you have an interesting chunk, right? Like
Sure.
like this octagonal room.
Yeah.
Like you'd leave that biscuited together and just kind of reuse that bit. Because also you could. Oh, here's your little. Here's Paul's lookout tower.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
The
and that's
offset
supported
with
entirely by the ladders. The ladders aren't stuck all the way in as they would be in a finished one because
The prototypes don't quite go
are
all
a
the way
little,
in.
yeah, because it's the very
It's totally a
stiff,
Moonlander.
brittle,
Absolutely.
resin. Yeah, but
feels like a deer blind to me,
Yeah.
like a sci-fi deer.
Sci-fi.
yeah,
design.
sure.
Yeah.
You're
That was in Lowtown too, where he
Space
put the market
deer.
stall on a
Yeah.
scaffolding platform.
Yeah.
This. I was speaking of the biscuits, right? So you could have this thing. Oh, we had this thing. This is a.
Oh yeah.
Oh, these are half biscuited. They're, oh. Which one? Oh, that
Yeah.
one doesn't have it. It does it.
Yeah, some
Right,
of these may
you
even
could-
be old ones that didn't have full
It's
depth.
got one biscuit.
Yeah.
But if this was all biscuit together, right? You could just
Right,
sort of
right.
flip your
Every little point here would have a biscuit if you want.
right. Build it, use it, flip it,
Or
boom.
have two of these, and one of them is the roof that you pull off.
Yeah.
and
That's
reveal.
what I
The
was
lower
thinking.
one has doors and stuff.
That's what I was thinking when you said having certain things built is you could have them in stories, right? Like larger, lower stories that could just be all spread out or start stacking them in different shapes and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, you can absolutely have multi-level builds that'll stick together.
Oh, I was thinking we could do two of those once it's factory fit, right? You could do two. You could do a second
Mhm.
floor with ladders suspended off the first
Yeah.
and go up and like yeah.
Yeah, have some kind
Yeah.
of a crazy little.
Just keep building on top of the
Put some
totally
Jawas in
balanced
there or
section.
whatever. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun bit. Yeah, I can't wait for everybody to get their hands on the biscuits. Like it really is like putting this stuff together in one place is once you have the chunks.
Yeah.
You haven't even-
Want the big chunks flying around.
Biscuits. I don't know we have extra biscuits here, but
But yeah, you could even create some kind of a weird like radar array. Oh, here's one.
I can already envision the campaign, and with 4 sets you can build this. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of the
And then you
approach.
can flip it all around and build something different and
that's really the thing with this is really for every pledge level or set, we should go like this is what it looks like with interior, and this is what it looks like as an exterior. Just
and then this is the
the thing over.
hybrid, and this is a
Yeah.
yeah. We kind of keep talking about it like it's KS1 dungeons,
Mhm.
but everything you can flip upside down. Like it's similar number of pieces, similar kind of idea of like you just get 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set, or 5 set, whatever But you're gonna be able to get so much mileage out of those just those sets.
I think really the key demographic this is really good for is just people who play a lot of different kinds of games. So you can take the same pieces and they can be for a lot of different things.
Mhm.
Napoleonic.
Which
Yeah. Imagine.
It's gonna be neat. Turn that thing 90 degrees so we can appreciate
Games Workshop
it.
never keeps terrain in stock. Could you imagine? Could you imagine not keeping your terrain well stocked?
Jeez, what kind
Could you
of
imagine?
jerk face doesn't keep their store stocked with terrain? It's really a classy move, GW.
Yeah. No magnets inside it. How hard is it to keep your store?
I mean, you
Keep your
got one
store
job. Just have stuff
Yeah.
in your store. People want to buy your toys. Let them have them for
Yeah.
sale.
No magnets inside the pieces,
Jeez.
right? Still externally mounted somewhere. I think they're like
We have no magnets
embed-
currently.
They're like embedded, right?
Yeah, I mean, there will be magnets, but there's nothing internal to the pieces. No.
He's talking about the design of it. Like,
Yeah,
the
these-
magnets aren't like inside the piece, but there's holes that for the magnets to be put into.
Yeah, we were literally just playing with this today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
at-
I designed a sort of vent unit that incorporates the magnet right into it, and this one doesn't actually have a magnet in there, but basically that round spot will be a magnet that will be painted to go along with everything else.
And Hamster was clever to paint it silver already.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you can see these ones. This is an older one. These ones here have deeper holes that I had, pushed into the magnets will actually fit properly.
Should we show one in on camera and see what happens?
Sure.
The
What could
answer
go
is yes
wrong?
first.
Can I get a
We
span
got a
on Twitch?
magnet somewhere.
Yeah, remember, you got a secret stash. Get the magnet.
What else we have? All right, we're not supposed to show. Not supposed to show.
Why do we have it in there if we're not supposed to show?
No. There's nothing here. We're not. I'm trying to paste things.
Right.
So
Got it.
there's
Yeah.
not like not ever, but not right now.
Yeah, got it.
Let's make it permanent. I got glue.
Okay.
No,
let's
it's not
see.
drilling anything.
Well, those
It would
corner
have to be
ones
yeah.
are good.
Let's see what happens. I'm not even going to test the depth. I'm just going right for the real deal.
Yeah.
You just put it in sideways. You just got half a disc
Well,
sticking
it
out.
does stick out like half.
So we make it a little
I
deeper.
think you're getting it.
But at least it's super glued in there, so I don't have to worry about
There we
that.
Yeah. It's a good thing at least now we can't mod it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now in builds, there's going to be one magical piece that'll
Yeah.
be sticking to trays. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Now imagine if the paint was going over it too, so it's
Yeah, they
But it's
oftentimes paint over the yeah.
But it's all part of the design. It's
Right.
Yeah. It's your
It's all going to be the
exciting.
metallic.
standard Imperial 57 XY cube.
oh,
Mag-
imperial
bed unit.
like the cider.
Like the side,
Yeah.
we're drinking this
pan of
because
gold
I think
magnet.
because the Space Marines one would be drinking green slime if the Tyranids had won.
Yeah, we're drinking crisp imperial.
Yeah.
Green slime. You're drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah. The official drink of Tyranids.
Official drink of
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Code
I'll
red.
have to tell my
Surge.
friend Rob that he's
Surge.
been a mountain
There you go.
driver
Remember
drinking
Surge?
from
Of course you remember Surge.
Yeah, I turned in bottle caps for a Surge beach hat.
Oh my god,
About
a
Jolt.
beach
Yeah.
hat.
Like a little round brim all over.
I know what a beach hat is.
Yeah,
Surge made
it was
beach
black. It
hats.
said Surge.
I adore you, Hamster. So like,
I was like, oh boy.
I feel like Surge is probably what they based
Skeletor
on,
for Prez had that hat. Skeletor
Yeah.
for Prez also got to play with the biscuits. He's the only person watching who got to play with the biscuits.
Apparently Matt had that hat.
Yeah.
I feel like Surge has to be what they base Slurm off of for Futurama.
Yeah,
The soda that's made from slug slime.
can't be far off.
Let's what do we have a couple other bits to show. We'll get there. Yeah, I don't think we didn't talk about that yet. Should we do that? Let's do it. We got
Well, so first here.
wait, what do we
Oh,
got?
yeah.
Wait, Hamster's got some discoveries.
Is it the
Yeah.
glue one? Well, so I was, as we got more pieces,
Wow.
I was playing around with the glowy lights that are painted on. We didn't quite like this configuration, but I was like, I like green lights somewhere. And all of a sudden, a new piece came.
Ooh,
Yeah. So, and now that we've got the base
it's a
that's
traffic light.
sorted out, yeah. Now that we've got
The
the base
traffic
that's
light. It's a TARDIS.
the base pieces more or less sorted out, it's time to start doing the fun accessory stuff. And we wanted something that would be useful as like a locker or a cryo chamber or, some kind of a storage unit that could go in a number of places, be oriented vertically or horizontally, get something interesting in the back. It functions as a 1-inch piece of wall. So when we have the 2x1 floors that we'll have, it allows you to adjust your layouts by an inch, and it fits very neatly
See how it feels,
up
Nate?
against. Sorry,
You see how it feels, Nate?
it's. I'm terrible.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I've been too long up in the woods. But as you can see, it fits neatly into the lineup of the flow of the wall here, if you use it that way. Or you can also put it right up against your accessory wall, and it fits very
Took
nicely
that wall
there.
towards camera just so you see the top.
Yeah, so you can have it flow that way, or it can be just down in the middle of your floor as part of your this is a Century ship and you've got a bunch of cryo chambers where people have been.
Hamster, what were you doing with the multi-module
We're
when
doing
you were doing the
stuff from it, yeah.
battlefield?
That was another piece similar to this corner where it was a great silhouette breaker. I kind of use these as like the Aaron Thor mountain set. There's that little step that kind of cleans up some of the awkward, like really geometric sections. So I did that here, like between stories and stuff, of just like, so you have kind of your foundational blocky building, and then it just adds just that amount of character that like looks like a locker or something. Now it even stack a couple of these and put it between pylons. Do we have another? Yeah. So I would almost even like do this, put it between like a pylon or something, and it's like kind of a generator. So just like the stack of power cells or something, right?
Yeah, well, we can.
Here's the other fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
You got-
something like this.
Yeah.
right?
So if you have this construction here,
Mhm.
let's put this, and then like I was just kind of doing
Did I
this
step on
thing.
the-
You broke it?
Yeah.
Oh
hang on.
no!
Can I unplug it? Unplug it? Oh, wait.
We're back, baby.
Right, so like you have a section of catwalks and there's all these pylons, and I don't know, you're just stacking like something to break up the color and the shapes a little bit, and it looks like some kind of power unit or something. Even
Color
at
and
the
shapes.
the ends of pipes, if you're, because I was doing a lot of pipes sort of on the ground,
Hamster known to do
just
a lot
for
of pipe.
covers, yeah. And so I'm putting it on the ends like this, or on the end like this. You put, so this, if this is where the pipe is going to, you have a little control console on a different end like that. So I was using both of these really to just fill in little spots to, I don't know, just sort of break up those shapes a little bit. And it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad I had a lot of them.
Well, that's the fun thing with all this compatible geometry, right? They have 1-inch ends and everything's sort of lined up like, and you've been purposely making 360 and designing the sides to all look kind of different and interesting, and useful. Is that no matter how you flip these things, it's gonna look cool.
Yeah, that's the idea. And then all there's this sort of broad vocabulary of shapes and style that everything shares. So it all goes together, generally speaking. But then the specific geometry of the shapes also works in a lot of fun ways.
I think it's the best flow we've had. Oh man, everything's biscuited together. This is what I was going to show you alluded to.
For that matter, you've seen the accessory wall, but there's a little green bit here or there to break up those colors.
That came from your green period there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted to center out a door, you could do two of these guys, bump, and put where's your door wall?
I stole them all for this. Here's one.
Yeah, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, and then because if you want something centered, that's a nice way to do it. And then that doesn't require anything else, any unusual floors or anything.
It looks cool, right? And then
Yeah.
you throw the back. Whirl. Got everything you need. The multi-module, well named.
Yeah.
I was like, well, of course I've got to name my files as I'm working on them because I've got every piece means probably about 6 different files. I haven't counted, but I'm sure a couple hundred at least different files in 3D Sculpts at this point for the set. And yeah, you got to call it something. We're like, we need this piece that does these things. I'm like, well, what is that? It's multi-module. All right. So
What's the perfect name for it? Well, speaking of the workflow, what have you guys learned from? This is a full digital workflow. Well, until it gets to analog paint. Yeah. But what's the learning been?
Hamster just takes a picture of the piece. It goes into Microsoft Paint.
Boop, 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 and
Digital
then
paint. What do you think?
Yeah. What have you guys learned? What's the discovery sort of being in all digital world for the first time?
I mean, I think there's just much more iterations of the back and forth of create an initial design, look at it as a group, tinker with it, create a physical version of it, Hamster gets to actually physically put paint on it, we get to see it in real space in real time and with other pieces and get a sense of, exactly what are the sizes of these details? Are they appealingly, are they laid out in a nice way? Are the shapes deep enough or too deep? How does it all work with paint? Is
Right.
And then after we know that, okay, let's make this a little bigger. Let's change that. Like we went through a bunch of iterations of the texture of the deck, the floors, and several of the catwalk. Certain things from the start that were just little details we expanded on, like these hexes seemed like a fun thing. That's there may be some like solar cells kind of on the upper surfaces of things, or it's a bit of ablative armor, or who knows what it is. But what I like to do in creating details is try to make something that can be a few distinctive things, but more than one distinctive thing. So like what are these things? They're not just nothing. They're to my mind, they're either solar cells or they're armor panels, the hexes. And I feel like if everything on here can be a couple things, then a creative dungeon master might be like, I'm going to actually use this thing. This is a droid port right here. You need to interact with that. But if they don't care to, fine. It's just part of the detailing, and it makes things look interesting. But there's always like some logic to more or less everything.
It's been neat seeing all the tests. Like, you do the thing, Hamster paints, and we're like, a lot of times you like with these hexes, right? You did like 6 different sizes of hexes.
A lot more iterations.
And then Hamster would be like, all right, the medium small works really well. Or, you know what, these textures need to be pushed out further so we can pick them off easily, or this isn't reading, or this floor texture, whatever. Like it's been really, it's been a more holistic approach to the thing where we get to push the design down the rest of the chain before it's done to make sure it's going to work rather than discovering it. And
usually for analog stuff, like I will do a texture test panel where I'll have, like I remember doing several different corner posts, for example, or I did a whole panel of kind of a style guide, if you will, for the plants for the swamps. But you can't paint those if they're made of clay. And we can mold them and cast them, and then you can paint them. And we've done some of that, but this is definitely easier, for that.
And it's nice to be able to. It feels a little easier to like make those adjustments of like, this detail is cool, but I think maybe we can zhuzh it one way or another to like make it more paintable, just to make it that much more efficient and effective when it gets to manufacturing. And I would think it seems easier to just like push depths in and out a little
definitely
bit
scaling,
more.
because it depends a bit. If you've got something that's curved or whatever, you can have issues. But if I just want to make like this panel twice as deep, the slots in the floor, that's pretty quick and easy to do. Whereas if I had to resculpt the whole thing and redo it by hand, that would suck.
Well, you've also been building your digital sculpts modularly, so that like there's a panel like, this panel didn't work here, but then you save it, and a month later there's nothing, like, oh wait, I already have this panel, you slap it on and like
I like that little thing from there. So let's put it on the.
So it's been pretty neat to sort of see if things come back that didn't make it here or whatever. It's sort of, you have this archive, you kind of library to dig into of explorations.
Because there've been a number of times where we've come up, like, I'm just like, all right, I'll do 4 floor designs, and we're like, well, we kind of like all of them, but probably this one's best. But that means we still have 3 other ones that are all right, and we can use something from there somewhere else potentially, or do an alternate down the line, whatever. So it helps to, we do certainly, again, we have clay prototypes from stuff in the past that didn't work sitting around, but it's a lot easier to keep digital files around.
So much easier. And then Hamster
finding
paints
everything out of the 300 files, that may be I'll need to, at the end of the project, I'm going to have to like go through it and be like, here's all the stuff worth saving, and I'll just kind of archive it in like,
final all caps final.
Yeah.
Someone was asking if the Caverns Deep inserts would fit, and the answer is not quite. Like we're frustratingly off by, I don't know, I feel that.
I talked to Tyler about it. He's gonna look into it and see if like we could, like, because all we'd have to do is just make it a little bit wider here. So like the blast door
millimeter or something.
So the blast door, We tested it out, and the blast door does fit in like the dungeon.
Yeah,
like,
blast
door
We can
will
go
go
the other
way, no
direction.
problem, Yeah.
Yeah, but like
How
if we could
about
put the
the-
slime in there, that'd be great.
The portcullis.
This one fits. It's tight, but it fits.
Oh, yeah,
So it's off
you
by
can do
like
that.
literally
Yeah.
like
Oh, but
half a millimeter
okay.
would save us.
Well, I mean that's definitely something. I'll need to change this contour between the panels, and I can just push the rest of it. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're so
As long
close.
as we don't mind having this just a little floppy, because this can't get thicker
Well, 'cause
because of the nature of the trap door.
Currently that door is perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Like it's just like the hole would need to be like slightly bigger in order to take the.
Well, and the door
elements.
can't change because of the way it's tied to the rest of the design.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, that should be
this this
That could, yeah.
could
Um,
just get a spickle. A spickle
That's
wider would be okay.
probably worth it. I mean, I don't know. Probably almost no one's gonna try and put a portcullis in it, but you might
A lot
of
need
people-
green
a lot
of people wanna
slime.
do the
I mean,
slime.
I
The
guess.
slime
Yeah.
is a
Alien slime.
definitely.
Yeah.
This is the Cree champagne fountain.
Slime cobwebs.
Yeah.
Cree champagne.
Slime cobwebs. I think the slime's probably the only one you would want to use regularly. Right, the rest of the stuff is pretty specific. Although you could use the cool door that Michelle did. The
Bars, I guess this is like if you want to have a low tech like a Hulk that's some bunch of space orcs have taken over or whatever. That wouldn't look out of place in Jabba's palace or something.
here, this one. Fit.
Looks.
Did we miss them to give away a prototype?
Yeah.
That was if somebody guessed the name when we did the name guesses.
Yeah, just
A while ago.
Not quite, yeah, but we could get there.
hold it up from the back to the camera so we see what it looks. No, put the.
We'll do the giveaway soon. Once they're done with this, we'll do the giveaway.
Yeah, fundamentally that would look pretty neat. Yeah. Huh.
It would be fun to do sort of a one of those quasi ancient Egyptian
Yeah.
alien kind of things
Yeah.
with you've got sort of
Oh God.
things
Love
that
that
kind
time.
of like
Can we not break things?
again.
We know, yeah. like
there's probably plenty of these guys specifically, the doors compared to like
we've established. I like
I
we've
don't
established.
looking at the pile of stuff
Yeah.
you used when you did your build, Nate. I was like, well, there's if I
Hamster.
I think we've established that it's not going to work, and you're just trying to fix it in any way.
It can build this though. We can
yeah.
confirm that.
yeah.
That right there.
Good luck. Word.
Oh, giveaway word?
You got a giveaway word?
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away now.
Tyrannid.
Tyrannid.
Ooh.
In memory. Yeah, pour one out for him, huh?
All right.
Yeah.
Is that to clarify for the audience
Yes.
at home? That's TYRANNID.
One N.
One N.
T
They devoured the
Y
other end.
R
TYRANNID.
Tyrannid.
Yeah.
Tyrannid.
TYRANID.
Hey, if you want a chance to win a $50 Dwarven Porch gift card, it's all digital, so it doesn't matter where you live. We're not shipping anything. Type Tyrannid into chat, and you'll be into
Yes, the first one there is right, so copy paste that.
Yeah, we're just copy paste that. If you have something important to say in the chat, wait until this stops to say it, or I'm just going to lose everything.
Stereo,
Chat is
type
gonna
it again
blow up.
without a slash.
Tyranid high.
Type without a slash. There's a slash in there.
Someone type out a slash, so make sure you type it without the slash, right? Or does that screw it up?
If
Without
it's
slash.
after-
You don't need. No, it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's fine? Okay, sorry.
No, I mean like it's fine. They
Tyranid
won't screw anything up if they type it without a slash.
But will it be entered if they have characters?
just go ahead and type it without a slash. Give me safe.
Okay.
There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose by just typing Tyrannid again.
Right? I mean, everybody's doing it.
Everybody
It's
type it twice.
Yeah.
Double tyrannids. The tyranny of the tyrannids.
Woo! Without a slash.
Without. I'm sorry, I
Thank you.
started.
Did
Oh
it.
dear. And there's the slash. All right.
Oh, internet. See, they're trawling here. This is
Oh, we have some interesting variations. All right.
I could have been a doctor.
Do you think?
There's a
Yeah.
Tyrannax in
I
there.
have-
What's your
Yeah.
bedside manner? What's
I
your-
graduated high
Tyrannax
school,
Rex-
college
Rex
credit.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
doing. I gotta. Ooh.
Double tyrannid on tyrannid action.
All right. Thanks, Rabbit.
All right, so
This is why we brought Eli on to make it highbrow.
Raise the tone
And
of
we're
the-
just like,
yeah.
all right, so we
For our safe said we're gonna do Peaky Blinders.
we got what do we get next? Oh, here's another question for you guys. Have you seen any of the images that we've captured thus far of the pieces, and what are your impressions having actually seen it like photographed?
I think just seeing the vignettes, lit with miniatures and framed up of interiors and also exteriors, you can really make some different atmospheres with the same pieces. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just interesting to how like you can make scenes feel very different just by flipping your pieces over, honestly. Like there's a lot of cool functionality there.
I was super happy with what this color, or whatever this is. What do you call it? Dirty silver? Or,
Yeah, just like
greasy.
yeah, I got a
gold,
lot
or
of
what-
greasy silver, and so it's interesting to like. I want it to read silvery. It's a kind of gold, but it could be some kind of space metal alloy or something. But really, the theory of it is the pieces are generally cold. I wanted this to be warm to pop off of the core pieces. And I think it's working really nicely when you see them
Absolutely.
together. Yeah.
Well, what I like about it is they each have their own distinct identities, but none of it jumps out like it's a perfect backdrop for your minis, right? It makes your minis look like heroes when you get them on there. All this stuff has a good personality to it, but it just becomes the perfect stage for a bunch of beautifully painted minis. It falls away and it's just there without drawing attention to itself, but it has its own identity. How did you accomplish the greasy silver?
Honestly, it's just Picorni silver and Picorni bronze mixed together.
Really?
Yeah.
it's an alloy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just mixing the two metals. But no, the ratios I did like go back and forth of like how bronzy do I go, how silvery do I go. At first I had started with like the metal that's already on here and seeing if it was maybe enough. It kind of wasn't, sort of
It
blended
needed
together.
its own identity. Yeah.
So there was a fairly small range, but lots of testing within that small range until we got to this.
What did you end up with?
What's
just-
the ratio?
honestly,
The secret
it
sauce.
ends-
Give
it-
us the secret sauce, Hamster.
Conveniently, it ends up being about 50-50. Like, you'd be surprised, but adding that bright silver, like Picorni silver is pretty bright.
So that's 50 bottles of Picorni
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
silver.
So
and
buy 50 bottles- no, no, no.
of bronze. Okay, so you
It's
get
just
everybody
like
at home
1
got
to
that?
1.
50 bottles of each.
1-to-1 silver and bronze, because that silver is very bright, so it will really brighten up that Gorgon bronze. And it works out because it's a pretty easy recipe to replicate.
50 bottles. That's we're gonna have to give away 50 bottles of paint in honor of.
Another thing I was excited to see, which is maybe not so much in images as just, although I'm sure it will be shortly, walking in here and seeing the compatibility build you had done, Nate, and combining sci-fi with escarpments in particular in mountain terrain.
People will get to see that at PAX.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it looked great. It was really exciting to just see how well this, science fiction-y stuff just melded into a rocky landscape. It could totally be a, movie set kind of encounter, whatever.
It's the Barrier Peaksy, like
Yeah.
sci-fi stuff sticking out of a mountain is
Yeah.
like just honestly a
Numenera.
big box of rocks. You can't go wrong with it. You can use them for everything.
Yeah, yeah, it could be some other planet. Yeah.
You can put the rocks anywhere, and it looks good. These pieces are also going to look really good in any of the wilderness stuff with forest, with swamp. We gotta build a bunch with like just mixing with everything.
We're gonna have to actually restock our metallic paints because of this. Like I think this is the first time that like our
Someone tried to
metallics-
buy 50 bottles and we're out. Is that what we're hearing?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, this is the first time that we've actually had the metallics as part of like a core like
Right.
paint design. Like it's always just been like little accent pieces, but like this time it's actually like a core system uses metallics.
Shiny.
So we're gonna have to actually restock it.
I mean, wants more lights.
Yeah, I mean, about the gray color, hopefully it shows up a little bit better when we have our really nice high def images and stuff, but It is a fairly like bluish gray, and underneath is like a deep lava, like a really red brown
Yeah,
underneath.
your base is a brown.
So it's like your basic 2 dry brush, but it's basically dark and deep lava and a blue gray. So hopefully those temperatures and like it's desaturated, but hopefully the color identity does show up a little bit more. It is gray, it's kind of battleship gray, but I'm hoping it's a gray with personality, and when you have it in your hands, hopefully it'll show up a little bit
Well, it
better.
certainly is great with personality here. Like
Yeah.
it's like the perfect mix, and I also think the lights. There are little lights on the stuff. There's little stuff to pop out. Also, here's the thing. If you get these pieces and you get them already painted, if you want more sparkly lights, like it's gonna be plenty fun and easy to go in and just pop a couple of these, pop a couple little details, get some green, get some purple, get some blue, get some whatever, like
Yeah.
just go in and bump and just put some little dots here and there to
Yeah, and then you can customize it a bit. So
Zhuzh
you can
it
have
up,
one
yeah.
quarter where it's all red alert, and another
Yeah.
one where things are peaceful or whatever, and you can.
Yeah, there was a lot of testing because there's so many cool details on there. So we have to be conscious of like how much we pick out, because when they go into manufacturing, it does end up affecting price or affecting the process of them producing it. So we tried to strike a balance of breaking up the piece enough to make it interesting, but still being fairly efficient as a paint scheme when they got to produce like thousands of different pieces or copies of the piece. And I the way I imagine it is kind of what we've talked about when we were talking about our references to starships or even real spaceships, of just like the wall of stuff and just like letting the paint scheme and the sculpt, the paint scheme be conservative so that the sculpt can sort of like blend into that atmosphere of just like there's just a bunch of stuff on it. As kind of a techie sciencey piece.
Yeah, so it's not so much, it's not stealing the show, but if you
Yeah.
take the time to look and you're like, oh, well,
Right.
there's a circuit board, and there's a surveillance camera, and there's a droid port, and okay, and then if somebody wanted to put hazard markings on one of those or
Right.
something, because that's the main switch that cuts off their lock or whatever, you could go ahead and do that.
Because some of the first paint tests, I mean, there were so many cool details on here. I wanted to pick all of them out, and then all of a sudden I put them together, and
It was
like,
a lot.
it didn't actually serve the piece because it was a lot to take in. So this is like letting the sculpt shine a little bit more, I think.
And once again, people can pop a couple.
And you can pop however
like-
much you want. Especially you can be selective and pick out like a signature piece that is like, this is the corner that I use for X that has a red screen instead of a blue for like your hazard.
Speaking of lights and things that have a lot of lights, where's that other piece that
Oh yeah.
that I almost inadvertently showed?
So this is very much an
let's
unfinished
play
prototype
it.
that's going to have more detailing on many of the surfaces, but this is the command console, and the idea here is something that is less boxy and sort of kind of breaks up the shapes, and is kind of a focal point of a room. It's it's where the captain stands in the bridge, or it's where the science officer stands in the med lab, or it's the controls for the engine room, any of those things. It will be probably end up with a larger screen and a few more details. This is another piece we're going to try and make kind of transformational. So it will be, for example, you can turn it upside down. It's going to have some interesting stuff going on down here. So it becomes
Same piece.
So it becomes like a hollow projector or a fabricator array with controls on this end.
You know what it looks like from the side? Zaxxon. From that, they made a board game out of a computer game. I don't know. This is late '80s. Zaxxon. It was like a
Zork.
no Zork.
Probably
was
was
also
Zork.
amazing.
Zork is a
Zork is
classic.
text. This is like a spaceship. Does anybody
Zork
know what
fans.
Zaxxon? It was a I don't know.
I recognize the
The
name,
big
but I
robot
don't-
thing was just looked like that. Like
Okay.
that was the big boss of this board. I mean, by big boss, I mean you just had to fly into the thing and shoot the guy.
Uh, okay, we gotta roll the giveaway, so I'm gonna do that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, 3D isometric shooter.
Merc 90.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Congrats.
First time watcher.
Congratulations. You
Yeah.
won.
Rick's never been here before.
Congratulations. You won. It's been like a year and a half since you won.
I mean, this is the fun stuff, like how you have all this, you designing these things to line up in so many neat ways that people like. There's a bunch of sort of generic space junk you can move around and build whatever the heck you want. Do we have another console here? I'll grab
Did we bring two?
I'm not sure two painted that way exist actually.
There's
Oh,
another
right.
one that's similar. I guess it's out in
Yeah.
the build room.
Hamster would know.
But yeah, if they go back to back, another fun thing I discovered is you can use
Do it
a
over here, do it
pipeline.
over
Oh
here.
yeah, sorry. When will he learn? You can use a couple of these, or even just one of these, over a piece of pipeline or catwalk, and create like a scanner unit, and maybe it's a checkpoint. So your characters are going to be asked to put their bags through the Imperial checkpoint, and it's going to scan
this
them
is
for
their
weapons.
Right,
Flying
we back to TF.
TW.
It's like the
Yeah.
TSA, exactly. That's
Right.
the futuristic version of that. But or maybe this is it atomizes stuff that's going down the conveyor belt in the factory or whatever. But and you watch stuff get atomized on the screen. I don't know, but it's just like, again,
An
it's something
MRI.
that it's it's a transformational piece. So you can do and this way you've got a control screen here again, but it's doing stuff coming out of this end, and if you put them bottom to bottom, as it were, then they'll be kind of like almost like a little holodeck. Or a
Stop, Chris.
yeah, so I think it's going to be a useful accessory.
I'll say. All right, let's see.
And if I could take away the
I
cool.
can't wait to have it chased where players have to go through the TSA checkpoint.
Well, just imagine you could have an infiltration scene. And,
for sure. Yeah, you just
stuff under
sneak into
whatever
the thing and whatever.
Yeah.
Get past the whatnot.
So
If I could take away the cool thing and
Yeah,
avert
take
your
away the cool
attention to the ground.
Let's look at the ground.
Hopefully, we have a little bit better. I mean,
It's brand new toys,
Yeah.
and then you're like, wait, no, let's just look at the dirt.
the camera and your display kind of affects the color, but hopefully you can kind of, especially on the floors, see the atmosphere I'm kind of going for, where there's like this reddishness that could be rust or it could be grime, or so you kind of see that like warm, cool red blue thing in a grayish scheme. So hopefully it's a little bit clearer in this image, this color scheme that we're going for. That's not just capital G gray. It's got a little life and atmosphere to it. Hopefully you can see that a little bit.
100%. It's this game is killer.
Yeah.
Don't hang on. We got another.
Hamster, I do have a question specifically for you.
Oh yeah, I like the face you
Yeah.
got over there.
From the beginning of eternity to the end of time and space to the beginning of every end and the end of every place, what am I?
Oh
Wait,
no!
wait,
Don't
what
give
happened?
me a
You got a
riddle.
riddle?
No, don't give me
got
a
a riddle?
riddle.
say that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli, take it. He's the wordsmith. Okay,
Yeah.
this is
Now I'm in trouble.
From
I
the-
also
yeah,
just
yeah.
drank a cider, so
no.
Yeah, so it's from the beginning of eternity to the end of time and space to the beginning of every end and the end of every place. What am I?
Tabulous, you stop that.
E. The letter
E.
yeah.
E.
Oh well, okay.
Is
Got-
that
got-
right?
got bailed out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was not even close.
yeah.
This is an
What were
inside
you
joke.
thinking?
I wasn't thinking anything because I panicked
You were thinking
immediately when you
cheesesteak,
started rhyming
cheesesteak.
and riddling.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nate got to it like that.
rhyming and riddling. All right, so
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, we have a hobby stream on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's Hamster's Hobby Hang.
Woo! Who's on this show?
Sometimes it's Hamster missing a brain because Chris
Sometimes.
gave me one riddle that everyone in the chat knew, and it literally took me at least 45 minutes to figure out. I removed the miniature I was painting, had a notepad out, and was like trying to draw the matrix.
What was the riddle?
The riddle is what's round on the ends and high in the middle.
Ohio.
Yeah.
45 minutes. Anyway, so Chris is trying to
Stupid riddle.
Chris is trying to rattle me over here.
We then raffled off his work paper. That he
The
was-
note paper I literally mailed to a viewer as a giveaway
Right.
Yeah.
with my mad scribbles. Anyway,
He got bailed out.
I won't say great night, I'll say memorable night. No, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Oh, and it's immortalized in VOD. Okay, wonderful.
It'll live on for
Ah.
eternity.
Isn't there a whole track about that riddle on Space Ghost CD? I think so. I think that riddle literally came from like it probably came from a book called like Cool Space Riddles for Kids.
Cool
or something.
space riddles for kids.
Like there was a moment where it's like round on the sides, and I draw 2 circles.
He literally drew.
I literally draw 2 circles. They're like, "You're so close. Just add high." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, you see my face as I'm writing
H-I-G-H.
HI in between the 2 circles, and I'm like, "Oh no." Anyway, Thursday 6 p.m. Eastern. Not tomorrow though, because we're playtesting with Eli, which is great. But yeah, Thursday 6 p.m. to see me make a fool of myself.
Yeah.
What are we playtesting with Eli tomorrow?
Starfinder.
I hardly know her.
What did you say?
That's just Chris.
Starfinder. I hardly know her.
Oh, good point. And not next Thursday because Thanksgiving. Good point.
Yeah, you're not subjected to this on a regular basis like everybody.
Yeah, we're like completely unfazed.
That's the advantage of like.
That's the Imperial.
That's the Imperial. Yeah.
It's bold.
It's bold. Both I drank most of it and I caught it really fast.
And the
So
Empire
nothing
Strikes
still.
So we got a little
Striking the
console.
Empire, I think actually.
We got, which also then you decided to fit up against this
Yeah.
all nice, and like there were what are the other things that were fitting? Like I feel like you were figuring out how to make it dress really nicely
Yeah,
against a
because
variety
you've
of
got
pieces.
you've got these control panels here and various versions of it. Like there are lights kind of peeking out. So yeah, and then you can if you've got like 1-inch base minis, they should just sneak down in there. Or we looked at cutting the ends of this, but then the straight just it fits better for various purposes, such as
Can't see any of your hands in the way.
I guess I need to look that way. Well, yeah. Or
Just
do
build the
something
thing.
interesting.
Yeah,
You
look
could
at
do,
that.
This is a
That could
what
be
is
a containment
a
thing. where you
containment.
put
Yeah,
a-
exactly.
Oh, a little bath.
Maybe you've got
A bath, yeah.
or,
An oil bath.
There's
It
oil
could
bath.
be. There we go.
Yeah, you put your
Yeah.
C-3PO in there, or maybe it's some kind of a
It's a little cockpit
an
for a thing.
interlocutor, or when you capture your Space Marines and this bombards their brains with something. So
These are
they-
your fantasies you couldn't live out in the game today. Now you must
yeah, exactly.
Space Marines
I'm gonna
forever.
torture them forever. In my
None of them were killed.
Not even one, right?
Not
Did I
one.
kill one? No.
They're just that Terminator armor. Whew.
Yeah.
That could fit over a floor hatch. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it could.
Oh, good
But
idea.
it was a floor hatch.
If only we had a floor hatch.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
slide that in there.
So maybe this provides some kind of a
What?
force field to keep stuff
Chris-
down there. And maybe it's the entrance to the trash compactor.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Come
So
back.
This way.
It's,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
Amazing.
All right.
Look at that. Get a little hole down into.
Finally, some props for my Space Marine fan fiction.
Amazing. So, what else we got to explore? Do we have any other pieces we didn't show off? I think these are all the new bits, right?
I
The
think there's a lot of new
multi-module, the
stuff that's
ladder, the ramp,
actually
the console.
actually printed.
Yeah.
There are obviously other things in the works which we'll keep under wraps for now.
Well, here's a
There's,
question.
there's probably some non-piece stuff we could talk about too.
Well,
Well,
stairs. There
I-
are going to be stairs, and
What are your hopes for the Kickstarter? Right, we're launching in March. What do you hope is going to happen?
I hope it's fun.
I hope
Um,
people are going to find it who are interested. That's the
Yeah.
main thing. Like, tell your friends.
Who
If you know
would be
people,
interested?
anyone that wants to build a cool science fiction landscape, or almost anyone, whether it's for wargaming or RPGs or just for cool dioramas. I
Yeah,
would say,
Yeah, I'm just hoping people are excited when they see the builds and see the images. Just like every campaign, even though this is a smaller amount of pieces, it's going to be just as exciting and
It feels big for
Yeah.
the ratio of like epicness to piece count is
Yeah.
is strong.
Mhm.
Right?
The amount of stuff we're able to do, yeah, because we've been setting up. We've taken. You guys haven't seen like the photos and stuff we've been taking, but
You
like
haven't
we're able to
seen.
do like incredibly striking, very different things by just rearranging things, and and we're playing around with like, oh, can we make something that looks like the Thing? Can we make something that looks like Alien? Can we make something that looks like? And it's been really fun to just kind of.
Miles was just messing around trying to build the interior of the Millennium Falcon, like
Yeah.
because we had pieces. Like,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some Starship stuff. And a few of the pieces, like Should I talk about the weirdness of the stairs, or should I save that for?
Let's wait till we have them. We can
Yeah,
show
okay.
like it.
Yeah, but
the
anyways.
concept. Oh, the concept isn't as exciting as actually seeing it. Then you can talk about like, wow, we got there.
Yeah.
Whatever it turns to. What else? I mean,
Super-
for me, what I'm hoping. So, what are you gonna say, Chris?
I was gonna say Super Mario Bros. Says the payment plan options would help them order more. Yeah, I got great news about that. That's,
What is the news?
Since we're planning to do this on GameFound, we're gonna have stretch pay as an option there too, like we did with Wildlands Reforged.
We might even be
So-
able to do more than 4 installments, right?
We will.
Because
We'll be
it's
able to do
longer.
we'll be able to do longer installments with
8
at
or
lower amounts
something,
because
or-
we'll
yeah.
have like the full dev time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just it has to be done before we ship, basically.
But it's not going to take. I think we'll be able to deliver this faster than like Lowtown because it's
Same. I think it'll be a faster turnaround than
it's a fifth as many sculpts,
Yeah.
a sixth as many sculpts.
It should be a faster turnaround, but it
Yeah.
will be longer than Reforged because we do still need to make
Reforge is set to break all Dwarven Forge records.
Yes.
My hope is that we get enough interest in this, particularly some new eyeballs, that we can do a sequel. Right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
I mean, at every turn, everybody's like, oh man, if we could make this piece, oh, if we could do this piece, oh, if we could explore this planet or this architecture or this thing or just for this piece or this collection of things or whatever. There's like such a deep well. Like I mean, it feels more endless than fantasy.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we could
yeah,
do.
opening the sci-fi door, like we theoretically could do as many Kickstarters as we've ever done. You know,
Oh yeah.
Are we still
I mean,
live? It's
I'm-
just the TV.
We're still alive. The TV just like
Whoa,
Weird.
whoa.
the TV just like
It's not
Yeah.
the internet.
TV
died.
just like hard reset.
Yeah.
I'm also interested to see.
We kicked the blast door open in an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's out there?
I'm interested to see kind of the numbers on like who maybe buys just core, who buys just pipes and catwalks, or like what the numbers are and how popular like certain sets are. Because I'm really excited about the pipes and catwalks as a solid system on its own, let alone combined with the core. So I don't know. I'm interested to see.
Tyler's poking at a just the catwalks pledge.
Yeah.
Like for people who just want the catwalks, that's the name of the pledge.
On the catwalk.
But also like it's not about like, at least for me, it's not about how much money the campaign raises. It's about how many people we can get in, right? If we can get a bunch of new faces that are like come in and buy 1 core set, come in and buy 2 core sets, or come and buy the mega core set, like just some, just enough to get some of this stuff on their table, get a taste of Dwarvenite, biscuit this stuff together, build it, and like, man, this is a really fun tool set. Like that's a huge win. And now they're playing with this stuff on their table. And it's going to be, next thing you know, they want to buy some escarpments, and they want to back the next one, and they want to, where they get some cool ideas for, they're on the Discord and they give us some cool ideas for the next thing to make and whatnot.
That's one of the most fun things is just seeing what everybody does with a set. Like we're
This
all
in
creative
particular.
and we come up with a lot of nifty stuff, but inevitably you turn it out into the wild and within a few days someone's posting something, you're like, oh my god, I never even thought of that, even with all the playing all of us have done. That's so cool.
Well, especially with this, like such a, it's such an open-ended set. Like Hamster, when you were just doing that Battlefield the other day, you'd done some stuff I hadn't tried, seen, or thought about.
Nice.
Eli, you just rolled in this morning and we're doing things that I hadn't seen, tried, or thought about. And the same is going to hopefully roll out as we get the stuff out there. People are going to do things that none of us had like figured out or thought about and yada yada.
And you mentioned escarpments and stuff, and even just being the last time on a sci-fi OTA, throwing some mountains around this stuff, like even though this is only sci-fi that will exist in Dwarven Forge for now, even seeing like pipes going through mountains or like built-in fortresses into the side of rocks or wyverstone strewn about outside of the buildings and stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Well, and that's the thing.
Crystal caves.
Yeah, yeah. Even like wooden
crystal
scaffolding
caverns.
for some kind of like bandit sort of
Yeah.
like
We're saying today is like we're trying to make sure, because it's going to take you a little while before we get the next set out. We want this even though it's a limited number of pieces, we want it to be as versatile as possible so that like it'll have some staying power so that you can tide you over until the next batch comes, when assuming there's a next batch, right? Assuming enough people show up to make it worthwhile. Hopefully this will be a good building block that you can use for a while.
Yeah.
Amy was asking if we're going to have any ruins in this set. Who wants to break?
Not on purpose.
Yeah, not yet. Just because there's so few pieces. Adding, even one ruin means we're not going to do something else that. However, that's another upside to having a bunch of digital files. Like we can make new versions of these.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've been like itching to just Geiger up all these things and have a bunch of like weird biomechanical growths all over them and stuff, and they could be the same piece infested with something.
Ooh.
That's different from ruins, but that's another, a very interesting option for potential expansion. And again, it wouldn't have to be many pieces. Likewise, ruins wouldn't.
Battle damage and runes came up in discussion a bunch early on. Like, hey, what are we going to try and tackle? And it kept going back to the same thing. You know what? It's going to take too many pieces to do it right. Let's stick to the basics that can just like the building blocks that we're going to use a bunch of that'll get people to the next thing, and then let's blow everything up and we we get
that's
there.
a great expansion.
And
Yeah.
we also noticed
Sorry,
that
Rabbit.
with the right bit of painting, you can make stuff look pretty scorched and burned out, and if not destroyed, at least definitely damaged or non-functional.
Yeah, absolutely.
so-
I've talked about this before a little bit, but I was really excited at first about learning some of the factory's airbrushing capabilities. I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
for sure going to be the set that we do that on. Like,
And
of
you
course.
tried a
And I tried a
bunch.
bunch, and I was like, that looks really good. But then we started talking about kind of the look and atmosphere that we were actually targeting. And I was like, you know what? I actually think I'm going to dry brush it, because when you think of dry brushing pieces or models with a lot of flat areas, you're like, oh, it ends up kind of scratchy, right? And I'm like, perfect. That's great for this. All right, so we can save that tool for another day, and and it makes it a little bit easier to paint if you're buying unpainted. So you can really just like scratch these up with your big flat dry brushes, and it actually serves the look.
You do have some of those early, like when we were looking at like the all paint schemes and stuff too. Like earlier, the stuff you tried out, like you do have ones, and it just look very different.
Yep.
That white one, was that airbrush?
White's airbrush,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it looks like too. It looks very
yeah.
clean and sleek compared
Silver
to
with the yellow and
It was a great
black.
learning
Yeah.
experience still if we do ever go back there, of just like, okay, you're highlighting a model that's going to be used in a lot of different directions, so like you can't be like doing fancy airbrushing from a specific angle like I do kind of when I'm hobbying.
Ooh, you do fancy airbrushing techniques?
Just like you're the fine directional lighting angle. I'm like, get that out of here. How do we use it for this, where it's a piece that's used in many different ways? And so I was doing fun, just like centralized, highlighting and bits and stuff. There's not really an example on here, but
But also
it was still good learnings to
it's
see
a
how would we
tool-
implement
It's a
it.
tool we have in the toolbox
Yeah.
for the the sleek starship design or whatever. There's gonna be it's gonna come out at some point.
They
We're
were
gonna
talking
find-
about masking, so I was doing like the hazard stripes and stuff of like, what can we do here? So we really tried to like push the envelope here when we were first testing, and we landed on this because it kind of hit just the center of that Venn diagram of all like the things we were referencing and everything else. So,
most useful in most situations.
Yeah.
Great starting place. And man, there's a lot of places we can explore.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm optimistic. I think we're gonna
I'm
end up. I think
super
we're gonna end up doing a number of sci-fi sets. We just gotta make sure people see this, and then it's gonna. I think it'll do well.
This will be kind of like the early dungeon campaign, where like the more people can just kind of get out there and spread the word, backers, because there's a lot of overlap between fantasy and sci-fi players, but there's also some people that are, not fantasy players. They're not used to collecting terrain because they can't get anything quite like this yet. So if you know who they are, tell them.
Yeah. We'll try and think of some social incentives to spread and work on getting out there. We've got some influencer stuff. Chris has been really putting the word out. We have a bunch of plans to try and spread the word, but that's gonna be the key, is like spreading the word to make it work.
And then if we hit the launch window that we want, being at Adepticon while the
Yeah.
convention is going, I think it's gonna be very good for us.
There might be a few people there who might be interested.
Might be a couple sci-fi gamers at Adepticon.
Anybody here going to be at Adepticon? Anybody viewer and watch going to be?
I hope
last time,
so.
At least one person.
Stargazing Kiwis in chat, so he's definitely gonna be there. Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. So we've been in this kind of neat all digital workflow. We've been playing with 360 pieces. We've been playing with biscuits. We're doubled down on biscuits. We're biscuit crazy. What are there any learnings from this that are affecting how you think about Hightown and beyond? Right? What are we learning from this project that might go into some of the next stuff?
Well, I imagine we'll be doing more prototypes. I mean, anything we've already worked out a lot of the geometry there, which is, one of the things that's been key for. But any new bits that get added in, we're gonna want to take that right to, a quick digital model and a prototype and maybe some painting. Painting will be a little trickier because it'll be probably hand-done sculptures, hand-done stone textures or whatever. But we can do that. We can maybe I do a texture we can cast, and anyways, we'll just the whole back and forth is great, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll want to keep maintaining that. I think thinking about things as, this is something that's been ongoing for a bit, but as sort of systems, which was very much more of a low town kind of realizing, but like we took that into this from the start, I think, and it was been very useful. So going forward, we'll be doing that more, right? Just kind of trying to make sure we have great coherent little sets, the catwalks, the corsets, the scaffold, whatever it might be.
That's the drum that Tyler keeps beating, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well, it makes
designing for sets.
Yeah, then you have sets that make sense.
Yeah.
It's great for restocking, and you can keep stuff in stock better, and it just
Coming up with this paint scheme and kind of finding this warm, cool contrast, it makes me really excited about like finding different types of contrast to put into these schemes that are a small number of steps. So, in the past, especially with organic stuff, your caverns, like the colors are fairly analogous, like they're close together. And as soon as we start getting into like humanoid made like type of things, like you can sort of play with a lot of different types of contrast. And again, going back to the dry brushing of the flatter pieces, of using the hand painting of it to like get an effect is a really fun, like cool painting tool. So just like applying all those things where appropriate or where it serves the look we're going for is like really exciting. Even more so like the effects we've gotten from just like base shade highlight, we've had really effective results. And so just finding these little things to implement here and there that are brand new to this set is exciting. I don't know.
I'll tell you the thing I was joking about with Eli today was like, when people see these pieces, like when they get 360 pieces in their hands with biscuits and whatever, they're like, oh, where are my 360 dungeons, whatever? And I was like, haha. And then I was like, wait, actually, like a set of 360 like dungeon elevation pieces would be amazing, right? Take kind of what we learned from this of like, is there a way to do interesting building blocks that are cool from all sides that are made to go vertical, right? Because the dungeon stuff we have is generally designed for single level dungeoning. We've got some elevation stuff going on for a couple levels, whatever, but like we haven't really gone full biscuit and full like what goes the axis. So it feels like whenever we go back on there, might be able to steal some of this, some of the approach in here to do like a really neat 360 building block verticality set.
In some ways, I think this goes back to just maybe my thinking about this goes back to actually the hellscape, because creating the lava texture for that, where it had to be able to flow in both directions, was really tricky. As you may recall, I went through many iterations of that, and that's one of my proudest moments, honestly, of like coming up with a new thing that like that. Doing lava that actually looked like it could flow in either direction and still look like flowing lava was a real challenge. And I feel like if we can make that happen, then I'm sure like stones in the dungeon is doable if we have pieces that we want to do that for. So, yeah.
That's maybe one day going back to Hellscape, speaking of the Hellscape elevation. I don't know.
Elevation.
Elevation. Hey, Rabbit's leaving. We gotta say goodnight to Rabbit.
Bye, Rabbit. Thank you for hanging.
Sing for him, Hamster.
Sing. Ohio.
Any other learnings from this that might affect the other projects of Bruin?
You know, it's hard to say on the spot because like you always pick up on small little things that you
Without
don't
you
even
realize,
notice.
yeah.
And just by doing more and more sets and campaigns and pieces, you just pick up on little things here and there where all of a sudden you're implementing it without it, just by second nature kind of.
The other, it's already sort of happening in Where Heroes Dare. We're doing a similar, this sort of back and forth with digital, right? So Toby's doing digital pieces in there, and which are printing out to figure out the geometry, and then getting paint tests on it, and that sort of back and forth of doing a thing, painting it, revising it, printing it, painting it, for that iterative process, I think is just, it's really, it makes for better final, like what's going to end up coming out of the factory is going to be better that way because we get to kind of test the whole process along the way. So it's already affecting Where Heroes Dare, and we'll see what it does to Hightown. I'm excited to sort of go back into Hightown and see, based on what we've learned, how we approach that. It should be cool. Do we have any questions? So we can AMA Eli and Hamster. I mean, you can talk to Hamster every Thursday, but
Except the
Do we
next
have
one,
any
that's right.
cool?
Yeah.
Somebody's wondering if we're gonna have like phantasmal filters for the live puck. Any sci-fi? Some of
not
those.
currently planned, but that is a good piece of low-hanging fruit. That's easy, no mold. Yeah.
Does the scaffolding and pipes work together?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, these biscuit holes are the same as the biscuit holes on the scaffold. So you could conceivably, say you have some kind of like a ruined spaceship in a low-tech world or something, and someone's built some railings on it or something, and this is an old scaffold. I mean, Nate went to grab some
Or
stuff.
even if you're doing Eberron or some kind of artificery thing,
Yeah.
in a fantasy world, you could use those pipes and catwalks
Oh, totally,
in there
yeah.
believably as well.
Yeah. New Mira stuff. Yeah. So the short answer is yes. We can try and demo that maybe in a minute. But there's definitely ways they can. You can. Not every single biscuit slot in here. I mean, the catwalks are mostly biscuit oriented, but there's some peg stuff going on there. Not every single slot here also accommodates the double pegs, simply because there were some design things we had to deal with that where it just didn't make sense. Like in the tops of these, for example, are just they take the biscuit but not the pegs.
What
It's
are
kind of
people
important.
envisioning using scaffolding and catwalks for together?
The other thing I just realized is we could actually use the biscuit holes on these pipes to attach it to like the paired pegs on the mountains and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
To run like pipelines like
Into
around the
a
mountain.
mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of an interconnected system and
Okay,
that of a
this is-
geometry, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be stuff we didn't even realize coming down. And
Right. This one is broken, but you can see how that would look. I mean, the length is right. You could clip it onto the side just as if it were a, one of
rustic wooden platform on your space catwalk.
Yeah. The one thing that's a little different is these are an inch wide rather than an inch and a quarter.
You could run that like
But
right in.
yeah, the wider ones, certainly. This one has a peg. Okay, so, or yeah, let's put this on the end. Actually, that goes there anyways. But let's see, if you wanted to do the reverse, I mean, I suppose you could use these for, barricades on top of a piece of deck. You could have a metal ramp going into your decking. You can put, corners. You could have some kind of a wacko combo where you've got someone has repaired, as their ancient structure is falling apart, they've repaired it with wood.
Ooh, sci-fi plus scaffolding plus hellscape for an infernal fortress in hell.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, this
This is where the devilish overseers
With
get
the
to walk around,
hellscape?
and then
like
the
You could have-
suffering,
Yeah.
suffering souls are down below on the wood that's partly collapsing. in the
Rav-
bottom.
You could have those pipes all over the city
Eberron.
grass.
Yeah, I'm even just
Yeah.
imagining
Yeah.
scaffolding just pretty simple here.
train
Biscuited
rails.
into the
Yeah,
exteriors
yeah.
where you have like an imperial fortress and all of a sudden it's like a raider shack. You know what I mean? Just by
Yeah.
having the ramshackle wood.
Yeah,
Dude, I
after
made
Ewoks
Raider
took it
Shack.
over.
It's
What?
like went out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like this thing here. Yeah,
I
exactly.
love Radio Shack.
I'm-
Like you could, place you could buy physical.
The corners,
solenoids and
just how we
switches
use the
and-
corner,
It's a really easy way to just get
Yeah.
just how we use the
Oh,
corner
transistor radio pieces.
yeah.
railings to like make these shooting posts on Lowtown. You can do the same thing here.
Fire giant infernal fortress.
Hmm.
Scaffolding with a scaffolding.
Hellscape with sci-fi seems very cool. Yeah, it's a big thing that we're definitely going to do.
A
Doing like a
Mustafar.
Mustafar style thing. Yeah, they'll mix very well. I guess the thing with sci-fi is like we've been talking about when we were talking about like doing sci-fi exteriors. We were like, well, a lot of our fantasy stuff, like the Wildlands, Hellscape, a lot of that stuff does read as like other
Trees,
planets that could
mountains.
read as alien planet.
Mhm.
So yeah, sci-fi and Lieutenant for riffs.
Riffs. I
Yeah,
love
I played
how-
Rifts back in
how
the day.
much-
Yeah.
We've been joking about doing a Rifts game
Yeah.
for the campaign.
Why not?
Just come down for it.
I think I had a dragon.
If you want to come down here and play Rifts, we'll do a Rift stream if you want to come down for it.
That would be cool.
Matt's already
Matt's
talked.
gonna come run it.
Yeah, he's talked. He reached out to me. He's been finding like all these Rift minis and everything. Like if we want to make a thing out of it and just do a Rift stream for some reason in the middle of the
Right.
campaign.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of people would nostalgia watch it. They would,
Yeah.
yeah. And meme watch it.
Make people like really just appreciate modern RPG design.
Wilderness Encounter loved Rifts, the one game that. Yeah, we're pretty excited. What other questions? What other questions do people have?
2-inch and 4-inch translucent porthole walls. I don't think that's
Not
currently planned.
currently.
We
There is
okay. How
gonna
many pieces are left
probably
to
be
show?
a- Translucent insert.
We
for-
didn't even talk about that.
How many pieces? So we've shown.
I
I think we've
don't get
shown
to
over.
do this much.
Yeah, it's all good. What was the question, Chris?
Basically, 2-inch and 4-inch translucent porthole walls. Glass walls, basically.
Yeah, we
Um,
said not at this juncture.
Not currently. That'd be a fun. It's one of those things, like especially if we do like an expansion that is focused entirely around like here are pieces that are specifically good for making like space stations and like ships where you do have like specialty pieces for that. That'd be nice. Getting into like 4-inch, like big 4-inch, like epic.
Like
walls and stuff.
external,
Yeah.
exterior ship exterior and interior, like really curvy hull. and-
Yeah,
yeah.
really getting into that.
Wildlands all paint schemes for alien planets. What I'm excited about is actually just using Wildlands as is for alien planets. There's like
Yeah.
the Sorrow Nest and stuff, like all of the like
All the
weird
plants.
plants and the Wyverstone together. Like I think you can kind of cobble together a pretty cool alien planet outside of your fortress and stuff.
How does
giant
sci-fi
mushrooms.
look with the wall of force?
Oh,
Probably
look
good.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah,
you can do that
yeah,
for like
absolutely.
putting up.
Yeah.
Little, yeah.
If I can find it, I'll bring it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that would fit perfectly.
Yeah.
You know.
That would kill it. Glitter inside space.
Place for a wall of force here.
And just alt schemes in general, I'm excited to see what people do with sci-fi because when it's like
Yeah.
I think we really do want to hammer because I mean, we're talking about like
Yeah.
if we're
you can make it
talking
any
about-
color you want and it would work.
I mean, especially if we're talking about bringing in like a war game crowd, like they're so used to painting their own stuff that like
Yeah.
showing like here's all the stuff you could do with alt paint if you want to do it, like might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah. And painted will appeal to those who painted entire armies and want a break from painting too.
Set up a little space we can put our.
Ice walls for a Hoth base. Yeah. Could you build sci-fi around
Yeah,
a
you
portal?
could use ice stuff and do Hoth.
Yeah, we could do Hawk. Well, because we kind of did it to do the thing, but you could absolutely like go a little further with it and just do straight up, yeah, like Ice Planet. Careful, all your prototypes will be corrupted with glitter.
Too late.
Yeah.
The glitter is struck. It's on my finger. It will go away.
That works really well, actually.
That was cool.
Let's get away there.
Only you had
Yeah, you
desert
could
and
do
tundra terrain.
Sand. Yeah. I hate
Sand and snow.
Gets everywhere.
Oh man, that's probably the worst thing to happen as a screenwriter. It's just having like something that you wrote like be
Just
constantly
memed
quoted
on
around the world on
forever.
a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's like
In
just
a
people-
disparaging way.
yeah, just people are constantly quoting it, but it's because it's that bad. Like,
Yeah.
any LED pieces or magnetic walls planned in the first set? Apologies, this was asked. It's been asked a good amount, and it makes sense because this is the set you would expect a lot of that stuff with. I think currently we haven't. Currently we don't have any.
Nothing exists.
Yeah. If you use phosphorescent highlights in your wildlands, you can use them very easily in an avatar-like sci-fi setting.
Yeah.
You kind of get that with the Shimmer Frond.
I forget that the Shiver front glows in the dark.
Yeah.
And then-
Yeah, there's no
Really?
fluorescent. There's
Yeah.
fluorescent paint.
It
yeah.
was a change made after the campaign. Somebody asked after the Wildlands campaign, and we went up to Aaron and we were just like, could we do that? Like, could we just put like a... So I think it's both UV reactive and glow in the dark. The Shimmer Frond
I
tips.
turned out the lights to leave my workshop, and then was like, I'm like, oh, hey.
Yeah, it was like it didn't cost anything extra. So we're like, yeah, just ask them to do like phosphorescent paint on the tips.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
got
It
mine
looks-
unpainted.
It looks really cool.
I did put interference on it though.
We had, so I've had the same build set up in my, I built this huge Hag's Garden build and set up and used all the wildlands plants for every, whatever. And it's been sitting there for probably 4 months
Background.
because,
We see it every Monday.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Morning
you look
meeting.
at it on this week.
Every
so,
Monday.
so they originally went there, and then we did a bunch of theater of the mind stuff, and there wasn't another combat for a while, and then, or a combat that required a thing, and then it sort of turned around. It turned out that they were going back into the Shadowfell to confront her, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, how are you going to go? And they're like, oh, we're going to go the same way. We're going to transport via plants into the same. And I'm like, wait a second, you're actually going back to the same thing that I literally have still this 4 foot long build where there. That was when I discovered the glow in the dark. So they went back, did staged the whole fight there, and of course it sprawled out into whatever. But then at the very end, they ended up destroying. Not only destroying it, they ended up dropping an ocean on the
An ocean?
fortress. It's a long story. The planes were collapsing, and the druid she tapped into the elemental plane of water and used tsunami and had this. It's a whole. Like, it made a crazy roll and did whatever, and basically just dropped an ocean on the thing that's right up. And so Hawken then immediately was like, "At last!" and just starts trashing the build, like flipping all the pieces as they and destroy. They wiped out this is the nemesis from the. It's the 3 years we've been playing this thing now. It's the nemesis from the very first episode, like very first adventure. She was the nemesis, been running through this holding this hag, and they murdered her so hard and then dropped an ocean on her. And then he just flipped that build, like basically like flipped the table. It's like amazing. Not related to Shimmer Fronts, other than that Shimmer Fronts were in that build. That's really
Right.
But it was kind of the catharsis of like finally. Now I have to like take it apart and do something else.
Catharsis is a great like sci-fi name.
Right?
Yeah.
Nemesis Catharsis. Has anybody played the Nemesis game? Nemesis.
Which one? There's
Lockdown, the third one they're about to do now.
no, I
Something.
haven't.
It's an Alien ripoff where you're in first one you're on a spaceship, the second one the spaceship crashes, you're on a base, and I don't know where the third one takes place. But it is wild. If you ever get a chance and you want to try and just lose a game quickly, it's one of those survival things where you just everybody's gonna basically die. It's awesome. All right. Any other questions, or should we wrap this thing up? Any diagonal? Oh, we got a question. Diagonal walls, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, diagonal floors, no.
Yeah, we showed
Curved
we showed
floors,
the
no.
diagonal walls. I think the question is about.
So we don't have any here, but
Oh.
they're part of the main.
Actually,
Yeah,
Show
right
the
here.
walls back to back.
yeah, we haven't shown. Yeah, so we don't have diagonal
Behind
floors.
to behind.
We don't have backfill floors in this, but it's because with the
diagonal.
design of the diagonal.
Oh, diagonals. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
you
can-
actually don't need backfills with the way that diagonal the diagonal walls are designed.
Do it over yonder.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So this exactly fits the 2-inch footprint. It's a little wobbly here because it's a prototype, but so that you can just build that in line with your adjacent stuff and your own.
Alright.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, if you want a backfill, it's just another diagonal wall, basically. Yeah.
Cool. So we won't be back next week because of Thanksgiving. No
True.
hobby hang tomorrow or next week.
Because Thanksgiving.
No, it's because Hamsters just doesn't.
Hamster's just.
That's the Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Gonna be playing an Android mechanic on us.
Yeah,
And then
It's
actually,
very funny because I think we're going to be at the same Thanksgiving thing on Thursday.
We are, yeah.
It's
So
like-
me and Chris will be hanging,
Yeah,
but not hobbying.
Just like as 6, we just start streaming.
Yeah.
and then the following week, no OTA. The following week, because we'll be at PAX, but there will be a hobby hang.
Yeah, I'll be in my chair. Yeah.
Answering riddles.
Yeah, God, I hope
2
not.
hour riddle stream.
Right, PAX is the
Yeah.
What's in my
week
pocket?
after
No.
Bap. So then the week after. So we'll be back December whatever 10th, ish something, whatever.
Yeah, okay.
December 6th or something. Anything else? Eli, you want to give any parting words? Of wisdom? Look what you've done to this table. This is a standard issue.
Don't do this to your table.
Yeah.
Yeah, see how it feels?
Yeah.
Petition for riddle. hang.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Hope you like what we've done here. Thanks for supporting us and send your cool ideas. We're always listening. Yeah.
Yeah, we are listening.
Yeah.
Whether we do anything with it is a whole nother.
We
We're
try.
always listening. Yeah. Oh, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
A lot of beans tonight.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.